Hmm. I never go live because I'm a chicken shit. So I'm just gonna wait here a minute. It's not always easy to put yourself out there. That's for sure, because when you share your story, well, it's never ending, right? So you always have more of a story to share. Hey, there's some people coming on. Tiffany, Shauna. Hey, Krista. Damn, I miss you, girl. Will, my buddy Will. Hey, lovelies. Elizabeth. Hey, Cece. Y'all, I don't really go live very much. I know I do videos, but there's no pressure in doing a video and posting it because there's no commitment. Hi, Juju. Jason. Oh, I have a lump in my throat right now. You guys are all so lovely. There's my Auntie Connie on. Hey. Hey, guys. I'm just chilling on my tiny little back porch here in my lovely vintage chair. My favorite little spot these days. And I've been trying to figure out how to get back to everybody on. I know you guys have been following me, and I had an MRI the other night, and I did get my results yesterday. And I've told some people, hey Tiffany, Larry, all y'all, love you guys. Because I don't know, I've been kind of just letting everything sink in with my new knowledge and trying to figure out how that changes anything going forward with my decisions with treatment and surgery. If you don't know, I'm scheduled for a single mastectomy on Monday. So like in 5 days, they're going to do surgery and a partial reconstruction, and then I need 6 weeks of radiation and all of that good stuff. Well, I've been waiting on my MRI approval and then the test to see if I can get the nipple sparing, skin sparing mastectomy. And also to find out, just how effective was chemo? How effective were my treatments? I've been I had 10 treatments of low dose metronomic chemotherapy, which means I went in every week and got a 30% of a dose of chemo, 30% of a conventional dose of chemo. And it was a bit rough, but I fared pretty well. My hair is growing back, as you can see. This is like 2 months worth of growth. And I did quit chemo 2 treatments early because I felt like everything was gone, and I really wanted to make sure that I wasn't continuing to poison myself if it wasn't necessary. Well, I did my MRI the other night, and let me tell you, I almost didn't make it through. I am incredibly claustrophobic, and I've done it several times. And not only have I done breast MRIs and other MRIs and CTs and bone scans and PET scans where you have to go through tubes, the MRI is like a special little beast where it's very small and you're face down, but it's still, if you lift your head, you're going to bump the top. Well, when she first got me in there, and let me tell you, this is the last appointment of the night. So 7:30 p.m. I'm at Valley Hospital and I'm ready to go. I've done this before. I got this. So she starts to get me in the tube and I panic. I say, get me out. And we have to talk through, and I have to meditate and breathe. And I ask myself, what if I don't do this? What are my other options? Well, none. So I sucked it up. I did it 20 minutes in the tube and I survived. Okay. So then I anxiously await my results, and I'm checking all day yesterday, and I am at one of my second pre-op appointment yesterday. So I met with my surgeon, and then I had another pre-op because it's really soon, and they're going over everything, and they're talking about I had to sign waivers and talk about the procedure and all the complications. Well, mastectomy comes with a 40% complication rate, which, is that's just the reality of it. And I'm feeling nervous already. I'm not excited about having surgery and changing my life in all the ways that it's going to change physically. And So I see the results come in right before the gal comes in. So I have to put it away and I can't look. So I'm anxiously thinking about it the whole time. Well, I ended up getting some pretty freaking amazing news, you guys. Every single tumor was gone from the MRI. So 5 tumors in my left breast came back after they got rid of the one. I did 10 treatments of chemo, and there are absolutely no signs of tumors anymore in my body. They're gone. They're freaking gone. So I am on top of the world yesterday, right? I can't believe it. I rush out of there. My knees are shaking. I just, I manifested it. I believed that everything was going to be clear, but you just don't really believe it until you see it for yourself. You know how many times I've waited for test results to come in, especially the biopsies of the tumors, and pretty much every time I was met with cancer, 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 cancer. So to get that result was just, it shook me. And of course I rushed out of there. I called Chad. I let him know. Then I went to my car and I drove home as fast as I could because I could not wait to tell my kids about this. My boys have been awesome throughout this process, and all I wanted to do is just tell them that the cancer was gone. And so I burst through the door and I'm cheering and telling them, and they're so excited. And at first they didn't really understand what I was saying. They're like, "What? You mean it's gone?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's gone." But then I have to step back and I have to say, well, I don't know if it changes anything because, cancer is microscopic. And you can't see if there's thousands or even billions of cells still hanging around, right? They're little minions who try to hop into your bloodstream and plant themselves in other places and make more tumors. So all I can think of is maybe I don't have to have surgery on Monday, right? Like, what does this mean? Like, does this mean that maybe I can just have radiation and avoid surgery and all the complications that come with it and all the stuff that I have to put on hold in my life to have the surgery? And I get a call from pre-op again, and they're talking about everything, and it was like a 30-minute call. So they're asking me things like, do I have a will, and reminding me of all the complications that come with a mastectomy and everything I need to have prepared, and do I have someone to take care of me, and do I have someone to take me home and take care of me for a week and help me remember to take my medicine and all that stuff. And I get off and I feel just deflated, and I feel like, wait a minute, does this really change anything? Do these results mean that my course has changed? And it was like a hard pill to swallow. And I just flatlined. I lost all my spirit. I lost all my hope. And I was so frustrated. And I had a little fit in my kitchen. I might have kicked some cupboards. Because I didn't know if it changed anything. And unfortunately, that was confirmed today. I left a message with my oncologist's office last night, and I wanted to urgently see him or talk to him about the results and find out if this changed anything for me. And I didn't hear what I wanted to hear, okay? So what they told me was, not only do I need to have surgery still, I need to have radiation still, I actually have to have more chemo. And I felt like the wind was knocked out of me because I feel like I've gone through that hard shit already, and I just want to feel over. I want to go on to the next step, and already the next step is so overwhelming for me. And so hearing that just blew my mind. Like, my oncologist never ever mentioned doing more chemo after this as a maintenance, and it turns out that's just protocol because of the stage I was at and because of the aggressiveness of my cancer. That's just what they feel needs to happen for me to really be in the clear. And all I could think of was, wait a minute. So on Monday I get my left breast cut off. You're going to put a plastic thing in me that you're going to fill up twice a week to expand, and they have to go under the muscle, so it's not like they can just put it in the empty spot after they scoop out all my breast tissues like with an ice cream scooper. It can't just go there. It has to go under the muscle. And it's incredibly painful, and they want to speed up the process because I have to go in every day for 6 weeks to get radiated. And then I found out that once you get radiated, you can't touch the breast for 6 months. So I have to hold that expander in my body for 6 months after that before I can even do the final reconstruction and get the other side to match. And let me tell you, this is not a boob job, you guys. This is not getting breast implants. It's not just aesthetic. They take away everything. Every single ounce of everything here. It's gone. You lose your feeling. And you're never the same. Okay, it's not just a simple breast augmentation. It's not like I just get new boobs and, hey, I get new boobs. It's not quite that cut and dry, and it's not that pretty. So I have a meeting with my oncologist tomorrow. He's so booked that he's meeting me on his lunch break because he wants to talk to me about going forward. And I'm trying to stay positive, you guys, but all I can think about is the next year of my life being stolen from me. I'm already losing myself in this process, and by the time I'm done and they want to do more chemo, then I'm going to lose all this again. I'll have to start over. And what can I say? Is this the cost of staying alive? This is just what you do. And I'm afraid to do anything different. I'm afraid to go against the grain, and I'm afraid to risk it. But at the same time, I know I have all these other risks associated with having a surgery and having radiation. And I wanted to bring this news to you guys with just the most excitement. And yes, it's amazing. The treatments worked. It got rid of all the tumors. But it's just not quite the end of the story yet. And I know I'm worth the fight. And my kids are worth the fight because they've only got one mom. I'm getting a call right now. So that's where I'm at, you guys. I'm 5 days. I have surgery. 5 days. And, I don't have a full-time partner here. I mean, Chad's amazing. You guys know that. I love him. We're with each other as much as we can be with each other. I live in Tacoma. He lives in Seattle. His boys go to school up north. Seattle's kind of our middle ground. And for almost 8 years, we've been doing this back and forth. And, it's like that time where I just wish I had that person, him, with me every day. And I don't like to be needy, but I feel like during this time I have to be, just emotionally and physically, to get through it. Because I tend to not want to bother anybody and take things on myself, and it's hard for me to ask for help. And it's hard for me to let people in sometimes. I want to just suck it up and smile. And I know I have my virtual support group, and I have some of you in person, and I know I'm luckier than most, So I'm trying to stay positive, but I'm just going to be honest with you, I wish it was all different. I wish that I could change the outcome right now. And I would do anything not to have surgery on Monday. It kind of holds you back. I want to do stuff. I like to be able to be active and exercise, and I'm stubborn. I don't like things to hold me back. And I want to be there for my kids. Thankfully, they're older. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to put all of my all into my career with QuickPage and whatever else drives my passion. I'm terrified. I know a million of women have done this, but it just doesn't make it any easier for me. It doesn't change how risky it is. And I just have to pray at the end of the day, it doesn't come back. You know, that it's all worth it. But you guys have been so awesome and great, and I've been getting messages on my results, and I wanted to just put it out there and let you guys know that with great news, my tumors are gone. But with the other hand of it, the other side of that card is that it doesn't really change anything for me right now. It doesn't change it. So I have like 5 days to get myself in like this mental state of preparedness to go through with it, because I feel like on Sunday night I might be running away. I might be driving, I might get in my car and just take off and hit the road. Or I might chicken out Monday morning. I'm supposed to be there at 5:30. And I wish you guys could just all be my neighbors. That would be awesome. We just buy a block, or 2 or 3 or 4. Y'all want to move here? Tacoma's pretty cool. And you guys are so sweet. And I'm going to look through your messages and get back to all of you. And I love your support. And I know, once again, I really shouldn't complain, because I've read so many stories of women who've gone through so much worse. I'm trying to be brave when everyone says you're so strong, but I don't really feel like it. I don't feel very strong. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't. I feel like a really big wimp right now. And I keep trying to calculate a different scenario in my head where this doesn't happen, where I can just be cancer-free at this point and just call it good. And I know so many of you would be here in a heartbeat to help me out, and I love you for it. So, I guess to close this video out, just think of me and pray for Monday and make it through, and the pain isn't too unbearable. And somehow I get my house clean beforehand and find myself in a place of peace. My heart and my mind in a place of peace. And I would really appreciate that. And all I want to do is be there for other people right now. I wish I could just turn the tides and focus on being there for all the other people in this world who need help. And I just hate this season of where it's just I'm so focused on my journey that I'm having a hard time with being there for anybody else, you know. I know someday I'll be able to repay, and maybe I'll have a great story at the end of the day that somehow I'll help someone else get through this, because I will get through this. And that's all I can hope and pray for. So I'd live to be like 100, and this season I'll look back and I'll think of it as being such a small window in my life, even though it's such a big thing. I want to think of it as just a distant memory, and it's going to be overshadowed by all the amazing things that are going to be happening in my life in the next 5, 10, 20, 40 years. And if I can get through this, anybody can. Because my hormones are a wreck, you guys. Chemo shut down everything, and so I'm not always in my normal right mind. And this is all part of trying to not lose yourself in this process. You don't feel like you're yourself when all these little bits keep getting stolen away. And just pray for Chad too, because he has to be on this other side of it, where he has to be the support, but not going through it physically, but he's going through it emotionally, and probably not always knowing what to say, what to do. You know how dudes are, they just want to fix it instead of say it's okay. And I get that. And I appreciate him. And if he's watching, then, you know, I appreciate all your support and love, Chad. Even when you can't physically be here. getting all sorts of messages. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate you. I love you. Think of me. And hopefully my next video will be telling you guys how easy surgery was and how much better it is than I thought it was going to be. And, you know, let's just pray it's a breeze and I make it through. So, peace out.